Morning, Johnny Walker. How's it going today? Well, it's a still day, man. I'm just finishing off a little 026 here. This saw is actually quite unusual. It's got to be 30 years old. Original 026. Just ported it, did the lower transfers, the exhaust, a little bit of intake timing. I'm just putting a new gasket underneath it, and that's one thing I wanted to show you on these original 026s. I remember years ago, really didn't have many problems with them. The only problem I really had was gaskets leaking on the original 026s, like this one. But this one is like cherry. It's like brand new, hardly been used. It's for a young fellow, David, in this area. I forget what tree service he works for, but we'll find out later. Anyways, let me zoom in and show you the gasket. So if you have problems with an 026 sucking air, you know, and you've done the carburetor, tank vent, pressure vac, if you did a pressure vac, you'd find out. So right here, this gasket underneath here, the cylinder gasket on the side on the transfer ports is where I used to see them collapse. They would get sucked into the cylinder, right? And they would leak. So, you know, you got to put a new one in it. They're still available. I just ordered a couple more because I got a couple more builds to do of 026s. There's the part number, 1118-029-2306. That's a genuine Stihl. As you know me, I don't use aftermarket. I did have a little bit. Here's another MS260 I'm doing. This thing is in fine shape too. I'm just waiting for a gasket for this because it ripped when I took it off. So the MS260 has a compression release versus the 026 never did. And a few other updates on it, eh? And everyone else can tell me those updates, but I don't know them all. You know, it's got the different new cap, different tank vent, black switch instead of the red, right? But yeah, this is a tremendous, nice little saw. The customer's gonna love it. I think his father-in-law bought it brand new off Dan the man in Parksville. Dan the man. He hasn't been around for years. He used to be a Stihl and Dalmore dealer up here, I believe. Yeah, he was both actually. So yeah, I'm gonna get this cylinder back on, go through the lung of the motor. We all know that. The carburetor, who cares if it hasn't been used much? We're gonna check it over anyways, right? Always do that. And I see no reason to do a pressure vac, but if it doesn't run right, maybe I will, but I see no reason to do it. Anyways, so I'm gonna do the carburetor, muffler mod, and we'll catch you in a little bit when I get that done. That's why we check carburetors out all the time. Look at that screen's plugged. This thing would have ran lean and probably blowing up after I did the nice work to it. So yeah, always check your carburetors over. Fuel line seemed to be fine. There was no holes. It held pressure, but I will be putting a new fuel filter on it and obviously clean the carburetor. Maybe diaphragms. We'll see what we get when we check the metering side. Okay, carb screen's clean. That fuel pump diaphragm was good. Metering side diaphragm's good. Holds pressure. Needle wasn't stuck. Okay, gasket doesn't leak on the fuel pump side. Now let's get on to putting it back together. New fuel filter and get the muffler modded. And we'll show you that after that. Here's something else on Stihl's 026s and a few other models, how they have the choke system built into the filter. And this filter is missing its fur, so the flock is wore off on it. Lucky the customer had a brand new one in the box. Bonus. So what happens is this choke lever gets run by the throttle shaft, right? Or the throttle control system. So sometimes these old units, the spring down in there will come off or break, and then as you're running it, this wants to just get sucked into the carburetor and it'll choke it all the time. So if you get a situation on a Stihl where you put the filter on, it runs fine until you put the filter on, it does something like that, you know that's your problem. I've seen a few other guys show videos of this, but a lot of people forget about it. These filters split in half for servicing, and then you can check that system. So he'll give this back to him for a spare, and we'll go from there. Muffler mod's done. Now I'm going to put some gas in it and run it up after I get the barn chain on it. Be back. I'm back. I went and ran this 026, made some cuts with it. Wasn't impressed. I had a misfire to it. Wouldn't idle right. Came home. This got to be something simple. Sure enough, it was just a spark plug. Maybe I dropped it or something, but the gap was almost closed right up. So let's have a hear to it. Let's have a listen to it now. It's a nice saw, over 30 years old, I think, but it's in perfect shape. I did find some debris in the carburetor. Did some light porting to it, work porting to it. Modded the muffler. Yeah, nice unit. There you go, David. Keep us on with Sticking Ass Rubbing Road. It's getting windy and rainy here. Time for some nice weather. We've had a couple nice days, but we're in for it for another 3 or 4 days apparently. Have a great day. We'll catch you later.